Hi there, this is Åsa with a new process video. Today I'm making a mixed media page and a background for that cute little photo of the kitten. And for once I'm making a scrap lift. Or at least I'm being very much inspired by a special layout by Linda Kane from Australia. Linda and we are members of the same Facebook scrapbooking groups, and we often find that we have pretty much the same style and that we love to scrapbook in pretty much the same way. So more than once we have kind of come to the conclusion that we do things in the same way. And when I saw this layout of Linda's, I was so inspired that I just had to make something similar. Linda's photo is an old one which has been discolored by age, and my photo is a fairly new one, but I still wanted to get that orange kind of feel, so that I will add orange as an accent both on my by my photo and also more onto the background. So what I'm doing right now is that I'm mixing modeling paste with gelato stick, and I'm creating this bright like aqua kind of paste, and it's wonderful to work with. And I'm using a stencil, I think it's from a dilution stencil, and I'm just making circles. I want to go in the same kind of diagonal way as Linda did on her page, from the upper left corner to the lower right corner. And here I'm having some help by, I think it's my daughter, who's helping me spread that paste. And now when I've cleaned that stencil, I'm going to use one of my own stencils that I've cut on my Cameo from overhead plastic, and I will continue making more circles or dots on this background page with the same bluish modeling paste. So here I'm just trying it out on the scrap piece of paper. So that will be much smaller circles, and it will be almost like an animal print by these larger dots. So that's just to bridge the larger dots onto the white paper. And I'm not bothering about the messiness that this creates when I'm putting the stencil on top of the yet moist modeling paste from the larger dots. That's nothing that I worry about. That will go completely unnoticed later when I'll add paint up on top of this all. So now I'm just trying to make the drying process a bit faster by heating it with my heat tool. And my heat tool, I keep it nearby. I have this device on the back side on my computer screen. I think it's meant to hold the ear, the speakers, the earphones. Do you call it that? Oh, I don't know. But I use it for my heat tool, so I have it always at arm's length, and it's always plugged in, and it works perfectly. I use it whenever I need it, so it's nothing that I need to go fetch in a locker and plug it in and just spend time on. It's always there, and that's really good. I'm cropping that cute photo of the cat so that I get rid of the background. The background is actually the desk. It's the cat has fallen asleep by my hubby's keyboard on his computer desk, and he's just tiny, cute, and adorable. And but I don't want the desk to show, so I cropped away lots of the background, and this is what I'll be continuing with. I took a piece of cardstock and I applied some glitter gold washi tape, and now I'm securing it on the back side, because I know that this washi tape is not very permanent when it comes to the stickiness. So when I'm going to continue with some wet media on top of this, I felt that I needed to just secure it on the backside. So I'm spraying it with my dilution ink, and I wanted it to stick a bit more to the glitter tape, but it didn't. So I will need to add our orange in more ways to get the photo block to become more orange. So now I'm just putting the cat on top of the sprayed cardstock and then on top of the glitter frame that I made. Now I want to tone down the background a bit, so I'm adding gesso on top of the modeling paste, and I'm just spreading it out with a rather broad paintbrush, and I'm just going crazy all over the place, just like the fun thing with mixed media. You want to just play, and this is play. I'm leaving some texture and I'm adding some texture, and I'm taking away the most of the brightness with this background. And now I need to dry this again so that I can continue with my layout. Someone mentioned that it was a long while since I did anything mixed media-ish, and that's completely true. And when I did this layout, I realized how much I had missed it, because this is just so much fun. I love to mix paint, and I love to use different kinds of media, and I love to just get messy and see how the product kind of evolves with the different layers. I think that's really inspirational, both creatively and when it just comes to the scrapbooking and creating interesting backgrounds. Now I have taken out another piece of a gelato. I think it's called something like mango or something, and it's one of my favorites, and I love it, love it, love it so much. It's such a wonderful kind of orangey yellow hint, and that's just one of my favorite colors of all of them. I took the photo and just measured where it could go, and got a really nice impression there. The combination of this teal and the orange is really striking. I got some left of that colored modeling paste, so I'm just using some scrap pieces of cardstock there to make more dots that I can use as embellishments later. I'm cleaning off the template. That's one of my homemade ones, and it was also a while since I tried making stealth sails. I think that I must do that again as well. And I'm drying the modeling paste a bit with my heat tool. When you're working with mixed media, the waiting time is something that can be challenging, especially if you want to just create all the time. But with the heat tool, it gets bearable. I had some leftover pieces there with the orange, and I'm taking out my paper punch that I mentioned in an earlier video, the one with the notebook edge, and I'm making small edges that I can use as layering below my photo block. So that's just a really nice way of using up this wonderfully colored piece of paper that I had left over from the photo mat. And it is not very important that the color is solid. You can see there in one of the strips there it turns into white at the edge, but I only think that adds interest, and it's not something that it doesn't bother me, quite the opposite in fact. And now it's time to continue with the layout. I'm bringing out more of the gesso to tone down the corners or the edges of the paper even more. So I'm just trying to keep the blue down a bit, because I want it to be kind of floating on top of the page. So the texture is still there at the edge, but the color is more muted. The color is still visible, and you see the lovely tone of aqua, but it's not bright. It's a lot of cleaning when you're doing mixed media. It's good to have your best cleaning supplies nearby. I use wet wipes, and I have like a terry cloth pads nearby that I can just shove in the laundry when I'm done. So it's good to have things that you use only for mixed media, that you have a lot of, so that you can always clean up and without it being a problem. In my stash I found a couple of really sweet doilies, and those will be part of my layering. One of them I will color in the same color as I did the background, and since it's a completely different texture to this paper, I get almost like a different shade of the orange. It's still the same, what should I say, it's still the same spray, but it becomes different on this material. And I think that is a fun thing, because the color is also different on these pieces of a notebook edges that I have. So even though it's the same color, it's also different. And that's really fun. Now the layering begins, and I'm really inspired by Linda's layout with lots of layers and lots of really pretty details. Let's look at the layout again. She has added doilies in different colors. She has, I think it looks like vellum with gold dots, and you can even see more layers there with the paint and the different shades of mixed media. So now I want to create something similar, because that inspired me much. This is a packaging from one of my hair products and that was such a wonderful effect paper that I kept it in my locker for a while, and now I felt it was perfect to use with this layout. So I'm making half circles of that, almost like holographic paper, in this wonderful tone of blue, aqua blue. And I'm also making borders strips with a notebook edge to add to the photo cluster. And as you see now, I'm already planning 2 clusters at the lower right and upper left corners, so that I get the diagonal like Linda had in her layout. I will now bring in gold, because the original layout had gold as an accent, and I've already added gold as the foundation for my photo, but now I need more gold. So I went to my cupboard and found this thickers package that I've been saving. I don't know for what, but I've been saving it because I think it's so beautiful, and it was one of those things that I treated myself to when I was in Stockholm last year, and I haven't used it much because I'm almost afraid to use it, but I love it, and I will use one of those as the title for this page. So the title will be Love This, and it will be together with the photo block to the left of the photo block. I decided to use hot glue with the photo block because I needed it to stick, and I have realized that my normal adhesive doesn't work very well on mixed media projects. So hot glue it is, and I'm using it for the photo block, and the rest of the stuff will go on with ordinary liquid adhesive, the Scotch Strong and Precise. So you also see there that one of those sheets that the piece that I was putting down there, it's the piece that I created earlier when I had modeling paste left with that wonderful beginning blue color. So that I also cut with circle punch so that I can use it in my embellishment clusters. I thought that was really well thought out, and it worked perfectly. I had a small cotton lace that I glued under the photo block just for an extra and different texture, and it looks really fun, especially since I have the doilies, so the lace is already there, but this is a bit thicker in texture and goes very well with the photo block. Here's the title, love this, and I'm adding some hearts that came on the same sheet of thickers, and that also I think helped to create this diagonal. But there's still some work to really get this floating and almost flying appearance that Linda did so well in her layout. So let's look at the diagonal here. Linda has placed her photo on an angle, and I won't do that with mine. Her photo has a lot of movement with this girl, I think it's Linda, and that I don't have that in my photo. It's a very much sleeping cat. It's not a lot of movement going on. But Linda used butterflies and different small objects to accentuate or highlight the diagonal of her page, and I'm using hearts of the same material as those circles, the packaging that I had, and I'm using resin flowers in the aqua color range for my diagonal. And I'm also going to use sequins, and that's something really unusual in my scrapbooking, and I have these stars that I'll also place to get different sized objects to like a floating or a flying impression on the page. I feel like it is the dreams of the cat in some way, but here my version of Linda's design is a bit different, since I don't have the photo at an angle, but that's completely thought through, I think. Now I need more gold accents, because that was one of the things that I liked a lot with Linda's layout. The gold accents that kind of melts into the design in a very nice way. So I brought out this Mambi package of clear stickers, and they are gold and fit perfectly with this layout. I'm choosing just sentiments and symbols that go with the photo, and I'm trying to just make them stay with the diagonal on the page. I'm so pleased with this layout. I had so much fun creating it, and I am so happy that Linda allowed me to scrap lift it and also show the wonderful layout that inspired me so much. Here are some close-ups of the finished page, and I will show you Linda's layout once more so that you can compare the two and see how much fun you can have drawing inspiration from someone else's work. Take care, this is Åsa. Bye!